Howdy, howdy, y'all. It's another Maharaj video. This is chapter 20. The Supreme is beyond all. Um, this this chapter has there's a lot going on in this chapter. This is a very heavy conversation. It's a very dense conversation. In terms, there's just a lot of like the questions, and the questioner is asking a lot of deep questions. This isn't like just some kind of rando, I feel. This person seems, once again, a very sophisticated individual in terms of understanding all this stuff as well. And Maharaj really, yeah, that's why I like having these more sophisticated questioners, because once again, when you get these more sophisticated questioners, it seems like it almost forces Maharaj to really push himself in a way to really, you know, to really have these like these bigger, deeper answers that he might otherwise be able to give. Not, because he can only work with so much with how the questioner is. So, anyways, this one is about the supreme and like kind of there's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot going on, and so I just want to talk about a couple points that I found particularly really interesting in the conversation. So, for example, um, the questioner at one point asks, "What is the link between the self and the supreme?" Maharaj responds with this: "From the self's point of view, the world is the known, the supreme, the unknown. The unknown gives birth to the known, yet remains unknown. The known is infinite, but the unknown is an art infinitude of infinites. Just like a ray of light is never seen unless intercepted by specks of dust, so does the supreme make everything known, itself remaining unknown." I just he has these ways. Seems to have these ways where he would just yeah, he could just say something like that, and you're just like, whoa. And it is in the sense that he he's able to phrase something in such a way, or at least maybe in my case, it feels more. At least a lot of times, it kind of feels more like validation because I've always kind of felt like I've kind of had a sense of that sort of understanding, but never could probably have quite phrased that way or put into words that way. And just didn't understand the concepts and these things before. But especially once you understand what the supreme is, and especially in the self, um, yeah, like it totally makes a lot of sense. So there's a lot of, like I said, there's at least some context you will need to know before understanding this. But this is chapter 20, so by this point, like you'll be introduced to these concepts, and a lot of these, will have. And there's also a lot of different words with different in the glossary in the back they help you out with, which is pretty cool. um because for like example, yeah, actually it's quite a number of words. There's one this which was actually a very interesting question in general. This Yeah, the questioner asks, actually there's this whole back and forth. The questioner asks, why do desires arise at all? And mind you, this is right after Maharaj experience had just explained how desires are just these waves, and you just whatever. Like the idea is of liberation and freedom is just to be able to say whatever and just ignore and just not care about it. Just it's just a passing thing. It's not, you don't like take it so like, oh, and once you get rid of that, like, oh, I need to get it, fulfill that desire. Once you can just like separate yourself from it, yeah, that's like a sort of liberation. But so the questioner, this is the questioner at this point is asking, well, why do desires arise at all? Maharaj, I like his response. Um, because you imagine what you were born, and that you will die if you do not take care of your body. Desire for embodied existence is the root cause of trouble. And the questioner then has a very good response to this, actually. I will give the questioner credit. Has very good response to this. Yet so many jivas, 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 I hope I'm saying that correctly, which essentially is like the equivalent of the soul, from my understanding. Like kind of looked in the head, like in the back, and that's what explained it as. Essentially, is a soul get into bodies. Surely it cannot be some error of judgment. There must be a purpose. What could it be? I mean, that is an interesting point. Like, yeah, souls, especially believe in the reincarnation, all this stuff. Yeah, souls exist, and we are all these souls then in these bodies, and it's the question of why do we put ourselves in these situations in the first place? Like, I certainly ask myself that for sure, right? Why do we do this? Like, I do love existence, but at the same time, I do love existence in some ways. It is fun to be a physical being, so I kind of get from that level. Um, but yeah, there is that kind of question. But why though? Like, this is ultimate blissfulness and all this whatnot. If this physical world is only so surface level, why? Why bother? Um, Maharaj has a very interesting response. I love this. To know itself, the self must be faced with its opposite, the not self. Desire leads to experience. Experience leads to discrimination, detachment, self knowledge, liberation. And what is liberation after all? To know that you are beyond birth and death. By forgetting who you are and imagining yourself a mortal creature, you created so much trouble for yourself that you have to wake up like from a bad dream. Inquiry also wakes you up. You need not wait for suffering. Inquiry into happiness is better, for the mind is in harmony and at peace. Yeah. Um, I think that's a really beautiful response. Then to that very good response to that original point. So like I'm saying, like this question, this whole conversation is just full of very good back and forth like that. Um, yeah, this is a very good conversation overall. It's actually not that long. It's actually decently. Actually, no. For this book, yeah, this is actually pretty decent length. Not it's not the longest, but it's a little bit longer. That's maybe about average, maybe slightly longer than average, but still pretty dense either way. Um, it's just a good conversation. What can I say? It's a good conversation, like all of them. The Supreme is beyond all. Chapter 20. And this has been another Maharaj video. I'm going to leave it at that. And I hope you all have a good one. Have a good day. And I hope you all find your way through your own spiritual journeys. Peace.